Hello guys, and welcome to the Into Truth channel. Today I'd like us to have a chat about divorce, the effects of divorce, what it does to our person, and how do we actually overcome it. This is a very sore topic for a lot of people, and trust me, I speak out of experience when I say this. I have been divorced twice. It's not the proudest moments of my life. It's not something that I like talking about, but it does hold value for other people that's going through the same thing that hasn't had the time to figure things out for themselves yet. So it's a valuable discussion to have. I bring a unique perspective in that I've gone through it, and I have found things that actually worked for me to overcome the anguish of divorce, first of all, and how to actually move on with your life and what happens after it and what is involved in the whole scenario of divorce. Now, the story of divorce, why we get divorced, that's many stories. On my side of the stories, both of my ex-wives left me for another man. I am not blaming them in the sense of that they are the only guilty parties. In a relationship, there's always two people, so you've always got two sides of the coin. To this day, I don't know what I've done wrong. I don't know why my ex-wives went to go and find another man. But the point is that that's what happened, and I am absolutely certain of the fact that I'm not innocent. That stuff doesn't just happen. There's blame on both sides of the scenario. I don't think that in any breakup, there's only a one-sided story, unless, of course, there's the battering and abusing of the other partner. In that sense, yes, I can surely make that argument. But I don't want to have a debate on why we get divorced and why we're not going to get divorced. The fact is that when divorce happens, there's a lot of professional psychologists and so on that say that divorce is as good as death in the family. And I can second that. It really is very, very rough. When your partner comes to you and says, listen, I no longer love you. I don't want to be with you. I want a divorce. When those words is put on the table in front of you, it hurts like hell. Look, first of all, the first time I heard those words, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an April Fool's joke that was being played on me. I did not expect it at all. And that's what makes divorce so horrible, is I think most of the time, the party that is, that's going to get the message of, I want to divorce you, that party is usually the one that's left in shock. The other ones had months to think about this, to work it through, how they're going to approach it, what they're going to say. And they usually build up a network of people behind them, which agrees with, yes, you should get divorced. And they have that conversation on their side with family and friends and everybody already set up. So they work through that process for themselves over that amount of time. So which means there's no shock principle for them in that. They've worked through that process. The person that actually gets the final message of, listen, I want to divorce you, has had no time to prepare. And it's to those people that I am speaking, because that's where I was. I really, with my first wife, we just bought a house. I was looking for a job, just found a new job. Things were going to go look better. And the one night she comes home and says, I want a divorce, just like that. Only for me to find out afterwards that she'd been having an affair with some other dude at her job. Now, I mean, it's not to throw mud. It's just, it hurt very, very much. I mean, as far as your faith goes, when you get that, I suggested, listen, let's get counseling. Let's try and fix this up. But look, the mind was made up. We tried counseling. She went once. She didn't go for the second round of counseling sessions. So in her mind, she was going to divorce me and she was going to start a life with her new husband. So no amount of prayer and no amount of begging or anything is going to change that. So just for the guys that's going in that session where they tell you, I want to divorce you, know this, if they have worked on this for months, it's not something that they decided lightly in one day. They didn't wake up this morning and said, I want a divorce done now, I'm sick and tired of this. It doesn't work like that. They have been working this plan for months. And once they've built up the actual courage to come out with it and say it in your face, there's no turning back. I've heard very few, I mean, really very few. I can count these on one hand that have actually had that, where there was something happening, the husband cheated on the wife, and the wife actually forgave the husband and took them back, and they carried on with their relationship. Very few. And most of the times, those things, they happen like very quickly, and it's usually infidelity, where the husband or the wife finds a partner or finds another partner, and they sleep together, and it all happens very quickly, and now they go, I want a divorce. For those scenarios, there's always the chance where reconciliation happens just as quickly as the falling apart took place. But they are very few and far between. Once they've made up their minds that that is the route that they're going to go, and they've discussed this with the people around them, then they are going to move on. And there is no amount of crying, no amount of begging, no amount of praying that's going to change their mind. I want you to remember this. God is not in the space of breaking up marriages. That's not what God is about. But God is in the space of giving people the freedom to choose, even if their choices are wrong, even if their choices are outside of God's plan, even if their choices is going to hurt God's children. God will not go against people's true ability to choose for themselves what they want. And as much as it hurts, take this advice. If they want to go, let them go. And please don't let anybody tell you that whole stupid ass story. Man, if you let them go and if it was meant to be, they'll come back to you. You know how much hurt you will cause yourself by hanging on to that thread of hope. Once they have left, make up your mind that they have made up their minds that they are going to leave you, and leave it at that. It's the way it is. And it's horrible. Man, let me tell you something. Getting divorced is the most painful thing I have ever gone through. More painful than the operations I've experienced, the car accident I went through, combined. Divorce is really horrible for the party that does not know they're getting divorced. So if that's you, here is my advice to you. If they come to you and they say they want to get divorced and whatnot, ask them if there's any way of reconciliation. If they say no, then leave it. Trust me, there is more harm being done by trying to reconcile a broken marriage. If there's any reconciliation done, it will happen afterwards. That moment of pain and that moment where you're sitting in, that moment you are in absolute shock. So you are not rational. You are going to say things, you're going to think things, you're going to react to the situation in all the wrong ways. Let it pass. Accept the fact that you are going to be angry. First of all, you're going to be so hurt that you want to die. You're going to be depressed, and you're going to start self-blaming. You're going to go, what did I do wrong? And what can I fix it? And then you're going to go the route of, why didn't God fix it or do anything about it? I prayed so hard, I asked so hard. And remember this, God will always honor our freedom to choose, even if our choices will hurt somebody else, even if our choices are against God. That is the fact of the matter. So if they can choose to leave you, there's no amount of prayer that's going to change that. I've seen divorce so many times, not just in my own case, but in people that I know. The same scenario plays out every single time, where there's phone calls to the families and there's let's pray and let's do fasting and let's do all of this and nothing happens. Who at the end of the day do you think gets the blame for the divorce going through? God. And it's not God's fault. It's like us saying God will never go against a man's will, so you cannot pray for a guy to be like this or be like that. But yet we want to do this when divorce happens in our lives. That's not the way to do it, you know? So that's just something that I needed to bring to your attention as far as the person that wants the divorce, let them, because you are the one that's going to be left very hurt and very flustered and with a lot of confusion if you try and fight that decision that they have made. Look, if there's a way to reconcile and there is a way that you can bring that marriage back together and work it out, do it. Trust me, I think there's more value in saving a marriage than just letting it go. But trust me, if they have made up their minds and they've had this discussion with themselves over a long period of time, they've shared it with other people, plans have been put in place of how they're going to do it, they are not going to turn back. They are going to go forward and they will divorce you. And the point is, if there's somebody else in their lives, all right, that somebody else is sitting there waiting for them to phone them to say, I did it, we are getting divorced, so that they can celebrate afterwards. So that moment for them is the only moment of dread that they have to go through. Once it's done and they leave, the dread will fill your life up and for months carry you, be your only means of actually experiencing life, will be that hat of divorce, of that trust being broken, of that heart of yours being ripped out. This is the life of being divorced. I understand that, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it and try and make it like it's not that, because it is the most horrible experience. So I will tell you this one thing. The worst part of that divorce for you personally is the bitterness that builds up within your heart, not just for your partner that is leaving you, but for the person that that partner is leaving you for. Now, here's my thing. Both of them are wrong. Both of them are forming a part of this divorce, which is blessed by God, first of all. The marriage, which is blessed by God, they are both part of breaking it up. So they are both part of this horrible thing that's happening to you. Facts, all right? Because that person, if that person on the other side could just have said, you know what, you're married, so no, this is not right, that would not have taken place. But no, the other person was also drawn along by this whole lustful experience of, you know, we're going to have sex outside of marriage, and we convince ourselves. Look, man, everybody has a choice in that. That has been happening to me as well. It's not like I've never been tempted to cheat on any of my ex-wives. I've had plenty of opportunity to do that with females that came on to me and wanted to have sex with me, and that did not happen. Why? Because I think that the marriage vows are sacred. So that is a choice. Now, that will anger me no matter when I say this. That is a break of trust that you are doing, okay? And the person that cheats on the other person, I'm sorry, you have no reason for that. You can come to that person and say, listen here, this is wrong in our marriage. Shall we see if we can fix it? Or if we cannot fix it, shall we part our ways so that I can continue on with my life and you can continue on with your life, because our marriage is now irreparably broken. But you know what? There's no third party that broke up that trust. When you do that, that is a selfish, lustful act on your part, and there's no excuse for it because it's your choice. And sorry, there's nothing to do about that. But for you that has experienced this broken trust, there's one thing that is the most powerful tool that you have in your arsenal that you have to learn to implement that, and you walk that walk on a daily basis. I promise you, this is the thing that will change your outlook on life in that scenario. And you're going to hate me for saying it, but it is the truth. And I've experienced it myself. Before I get to that point, my life was a mess, all right? Because the first things that happens is the divorced person goes back into teenage years, the single person again. You go back into teenage years, you start looking at what you're dressing, fixing your hair up, you're going out to places that you didn't usually go to. You know, you're going to clubs, you're doing bar crawling, you're doing the party, you're becoming very sociable. And trust me, this happens not the day after you're divorced. There's a time of mourning and grieving and eating ice cream in the bedroom and all of those things, dark rooms and sadness. But those days end because it's a progression of things. And then you get into the whole party and socializing and whatnot. And that's most of the time when you meet somebody else. And most of the times that somebody else might not even be the right person for you, but it's that somebody else that's just going to drag you across that threshold of breaking apart completely. And that helps, but it's not always the solution as a long term. For some people that works, for some people that person that they meet, they join up, they link up, they get married again, and they carry on with their life, and they met in that party scenario. And, you know, kudos to them, well done, but it doesn't happen for everybody that way. But that scenario that I've just played out, all of that is good. Even if you get married again, there is something that will carry in your heart for your whole life. And that is that bitterness that you have towards the ex and the ex's new partner or whatever, the reason why your ex broke up with you, why you got divorced. So that bitterness will eat you alive. It is worse than a cancer. It will destroy your life because all your decisions will be built upon that thing. So the thing that I wanted to say that I'm getting to very slowly is that you're going to hate me for saying it. I know you are, is you have to forgive both of them for what they are doing. Okay? Forgive both of them. Wish them no harm. Don't wish that the same thing's going to happen to them that happened to you, even though you wanted to. I know. Don't wish that their family will fall apart. Don't have anger towards them, because let me tell you something, what happens when you start walking around with that unforgiveness in your heart, all right? It's only you that is walking around with that bitter pit growing inside of you. It's only you. Nobody else is sharing in that bitterness, anger, hatred, and frustration, and all of that freaking dark cloud sitting on top of your head. No one shares that. No one but you. All right? And it doesn't matter if you talk to people and tell them how horrible they were and what crap people they are and how dare they do that. And even if those people agree with you, let me tell you something. When you go home, all right, and you close your door, everybody else carries on with life The friends that's sitting there going with you, oh yeah, no, they're horrible. Oh no, you must hate them. Oh no, you must do this. Those friends, they lock their doors. They are with their partners and they are laughing. They are having a fun time when you are sitting in your home and you are smoldering with bitterness and unforgiveness. You know what? Your ex and the new partner, they are sitting drinking a drink of wine and they are smiling and they are happy. You are the only one that's sitting at your home smoldering, depressed, anxious. And you know why? It's because you cannot forgive them. You want to harbor that thing and I tell you now, that thing only destroys you. You are the only one that is experiencing that and holding it. And you are the only one that's going to get a stomach ulcer from it. You're the only one that's going to feel life pressing down on you because everybody else goes home and they are smiling and enjoying their life. Forgive them, guys. Just forgive them. Hear what I'm saying. Let them go. It is done. It is over. It is finished. Your anger, your bitterness, your unforgiveness, it does nothing to them. I can't stress that enough. I cannot get that point across stronger than that. You have to forgive them because that is your road to recovery and freedom. My friends, if you cannot forgive them, you will be divorced, in the state of divorce for the rest of your life. And even if you get married again, that state of divorce will be brought into your new marriage, your new partnership. Okay, that broken trust will be carried into your new relationship. And if you have children in that new relationship, your children will grow with that broken trust state of being that you're bringing into that relationship. You have to forgive. Now, forgive does not mean you've got to go up to the people and become their best friends. It doesn't mean you've got to now go and have braais with them and socialize with them. Forgiveness means to say, get out of my life and go and enjoy yours. That's what forgiveness in essence is, to get the hurt out of your life and let it go and to not wish harm. Get out of my life and go and enjoy yours. That's what forgiveness is. That's what you want to go and do with it. You want to go before God. You want to go on your knees and you want to say, Father, forgive them. Let them go. Take them out of my life, Lord. And trust me, they are not going to want to be part of your life in any case. So don't want to be part of theirs. But don't be part of theirs in absence by carrying them all in here with a grudge and a bitter heart with hatred. On your knees before God, cry, holler, scream, do your thing before God, and then say, Lord, forgive them. Forgive them. I am going to let them go. I am going to put them in your hands, Lord. And you take care of them as you see fit. More than that, you cannot do. There is nothing else you can do. Unless you're a crazy person. You cannot enter their lives again. Now, if there's divorce and there's children, now I thank God that I've not had children in any of my previous marriages. But if there are children, you know what? For the sake of the children, forget the animosity. You are not in a competition with the new dad or the new mom. You are not there to show anyone up or point out all their dirt and bad points and everything like that. Let me tell you, I loved my ex-wives. I really did. Okay? And I don't think love is something that you go and it's off and it's gone. I loved them for a whole while after the divorce, even when they got remarried. There was still love but it was a broken love. It was tainted with that bitterness that I'm telling you about. And man, that makes it kind of a sick kind of love, all right? It's something that, it's that kind of love of wanting the thing that you cannot have. It's that kind of love. And don't mistake that love for the love that you shared when you were together, because it's not the same love, all right? That thing is broken, guys. Once that trust is broken, to repair it, to get back into the relationship and repair that broken trust, it takes months, if not years, to fix. And it never, ever gets back to the space where it was before that trust was broken. So do not mistake that feeling that you've got of love as the same kind of love that you had for that person there. Because I tell you now, if you can mend that divorce, if you can mend it again and you get back together again, do you think you have finally fully forgiven if you are back together? What if you could not forgive when you were apart? How did you forgive when you're now finally back together? Think about that for 1 second. And then when you are together, what are you walking around with within your heart? Do you have absolute trust once again? Do you trust that partner of yours enough now to go and have a cup of coffee with that person that she had an affair with? Do you think that trust is there? It's hard, people, to reconcile a marriage. It's really hard. Is it impossible? No, absolutely not. It's not impossible. Does it work? Absolutely. For some people, that works, and they actually have a richer marriage afterwards. But I tell you what, the people that can do that absolutely forgave. Absolutely forgave and said, you know what, I trust you 100% again. But guys, that is a choice, and it doesn't come like this. It's something that has to be built and mended. All right. It takes a lot of time together, of praying together, of spending time with God together, of doing things together, and just building that trust again. And I think when you get to that stage, you can fall on your knees and thank God, because, man, that doesn't happen often. Most of the times I see divorce, it happens, and it's a really messy, scary, horrible mess that people are going through. But the weapon in your arsenal is forgive. Forgive them. And here's another very important thing that you have to put in your arsenal of getting past and through divorce. Life will carry on, okay? Like I said to you earlier on, the people go home and they lock their doors and they are happy. And you are miserable and in anger and bitterness. If you can forgive, the bitterness and anger goes away. All right. But life doesn't end for you there. Man, a 10-year marriage broken up by infidelity is no fun thing. Remember, you've built your whole life around that person that you're with, and you've structured everything according to a plan that the two of you had for your future and where you're going and what you're working towards and where you're going to end up. That is the whole plan that you've built up as a life together. When you get divorced, all of that falls away. All right, you've got a absolutely clean slate, and that really, really is the scary part. People don't like being alone after so long being with somebody all the time. Facing that loneliness, that is harsh. That is really harsh. The thing I can tell you, if you have friends, visit friends, chat with friends. Don't go to friends and be miserable and cry and bring about the whole thing, make it alive again. You're going to lose those friends. Go to your friends and just be friends. If they ask you how you are, not lacquer, but I'm coping, I'm okay. Let's talk about something else. If they want to support and talk to you about it, give them a 5-minute and say, listen, guys, let's talk about this 5 minutes, get it out and done. Then we carry on with just being friends. But lean on your friends, lean on your family, your mom and dad, because they will be supportive of you if you haven't been a total idiot. Because you could be guilty as well. Hey? I mean, divorce, like I said, it's a double-sided coin. People aren't always just innocent, but it does happen as well. So lean on friends so that the loneliness doesn't get you, because loneliness really is a killer, hey? Especially if you've been married for so long. Then loneliness can be really, really tough. Join a church. In my case, all of our friends were pretty much her friends, because I came from another area. So when I moved to where she was staying, all the friends were obviously her friends, and I just incorporated those as friendships. But when the divorce happened, obviously everybody reverted back to their old ways, that she was their friend, and I ended up with no friends. So be careful of something like that as well, that the friendships that's built is not just built around the relationship, but make sure you've got your own friends that you can also say, if something breaks us, even not that bad, even if you just have a fight, do you have a friend that you can go to that's your friend and not your partner's friend, if that makes sense to you? We have friends where the friends are both of our friends, and they wouldn't make good judgment calls for any situation in a relationship, because how are they going to help either party? But for you, you have a friend that, I'm going to put it like this, that will take your part, that can give you the support that you need to say, no, dude, I've got you, I understand you, and not, no, you silly, you should, she's the one that you've got to do this, or he's the one you got to do that. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, and it does sound counterintuitive, because you just want a friend that's going to listen to you and agree with you. Now, you need a support structure, all right? When something like this, like divorce happens, you need a support structure. And remember, when divorce happens, you're angry and bitter and whatnot, so you need a sounding board to say, I'm so hurt, man. And then you don't need somebody to say, yeah, but you deserved it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So make sure you have friends that after a divorce, you are also left with friends. Because what happens to those friendships is the divorce separates you from friends. Because if she's going to the same bride that you're going, or he's going to the same bride that you're going to go to at that friend's house, what do you think is going to happen to the vibe? And if that partner of yours that divorced you brings the new partner with to that party, what do you think is going to be the vibe? What do you think is going to be the whole procession of that evening's events? In my experience, it's never a good thing. Can you do it? Yeah, there's people that do it. I've met people that do just that, but their divorce was different. They divorced and then found new partners, and then they were happy to join in parties and whatnot together again. And kudos to them, you know, if you can do that. I am talking about the people that's walking around with a really broken spirit and cannot move past that point. Those people, don't try and become friends with your ex. Don't try and mingle in the same parties. You need to heal first. You need to overcome and empower yourself first, all right, without having to see them again and wanting to rip them to pieces, or cry on their shoulders, or, you know, beg them to come back and things like that, where you can keep your dignity while you are seeing them. without it being a farce, without it being an act. I mean, you've got to be real when that happens. Only then can you move past that. And then you can go like the other people to parties and talk and have the moments, the social gatherings together. But yeah, like I say, if there's that happening at that friend, how do you, and how does the friends then choose who's who? You know, you're allowed to visit, oh no, you can't come because they're coming, and you're putting your friends in a situation where they have to now also divorce somebody. And that also is not it's not a very nice situation to be in. So make sure that you have friends that's friends for you and not for her, so that if breakup happens, those friends won't expect her to come and visit, if you understand what I'm saying. So for the men, when you have friends and you've got a man cave and you're visiting at the man cave, that type of thing, or you have a car club and you're driving with the boys on the car club, or it's a breakfast run and it's only the boys that will goes on the breakfast run, those friends is what you need, because the ex is not then going to go to those friends. All right. So I'm speaking in terms of boys because obviously because that's me. But the same holds true for women as well. You also need the friends that's not the friends that your ex is going to go and visit, if you get what I'm saying. So 2 things. Forgiveness, it's number 1. All right. Overcome the loneliness by having friends, that's number 2. If you're getting divorced now and you don't have friends, join a church, man, and become part of that church clubs, the social groups of that church. A home cell is a perfect place to find people and just talk to them, you know, just have chats to them, meet new people. It breaks the loneliness. Just get involved, you know, and at that point, people will start befriending you and you will start doing different things together. They'll invite you for different things and the loneliness will go. So just carry on with your life. And then know this, that your life is going to come right again. This is not going to be like this for the rest of your life. Everything will come right again in its own merit. Right, you will meet somebody else if that is what you want. And most of the times, people that get divorced is never again. I don't want a partner. I'll never get married again. Don't even go there. Leave it. Leave it, because you don't know what the future holds. But have hope. Hold on to hope, because tomorrow things will be better. All right, things will get better in the time that you continue on. So don't just settle for the space that you are in now. Know this, have hope, have the hope that tomorrow is going to be a better day. And doesn't matter how old you are, if you want to meet somebody and find love again, you will, it will happen. If that is what you want, it will happen. It happened to you, for you before with your ex. Remember? You found her, you fell in love, you got married. It will happen again with somebody else, with a whole new, different environment, and that is exciting. It's not fun to have to start dating all over again. It's kind of harrowing if you haven't dated for years, and now you have to start doing the dating thing, but it comes naturally. It grows naturally from you again. So your life will continue. But my friend, I urge you, forgive. Forgive those people that hurt you like that completely, and let them go and let them live their lives so that you can go and live your life. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any requests or anything that you want me to discuss more on this topic, please leave a comment. If you want to get hold of me, you can mail me at drnell@intotruth.co.za, and we can have a chat about this. I am not a professional. I'm not a psychologist. I've just been through this, and I know the hurt that it can cause. So God bless. Have a nice day. Please like and subscribe the video. Share for those that you know that's going through this and it might be helpful for them. And subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to make some more videos like this. But that's me. God bless and have a nice day.